Nancy Yoder with Greenville Village Theater, and here with me today is Wanda Brunstetter, the author of this amazing book that is our inspiration for Half Stitch the Musical that is premiering at Greenville Village Theater here in Arcola, Illinois. Wanda, thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome.
Yes. Well, we want to talk about the characters because when people come to the musical, when people read your book, they fall in love with the characters. The storyline is wonderful, but I think those characters resonate with them. You know, there's a married couple that you have. Tell us about Pam and Stuart, because they just really bring the musical to life. They're kind of tit for tat. Yes.
You know, having been a pastor's wife for 20 years, my husband counseled many couples. And we saw lots of couples and going through rough times. And in our own lives, I mean, I have to be honest, it hasn't been a bed of roses for the time we've been married. I don't think there's a couple out there that can't say, I haven't had some rocky time. But of course, you know, some people look at Pam and Stuart and say, well, that's an exaggeration. No couple is that bad. I beg to differ with you. I've met couples that are that bad, that are really grating on each other. They're trying to get each other's attention. They want that acceptance. They want to get back to what they had when they were courting. Well, that's the Amish term.
Yes, yeah.
But Stuart, of course, he loves to hunt. He loves to fish. He's a very outdoorsy kind of guy. And he's wanting his wife to be that too. And she hates it, you know. So they need to find some common ground, because obviously not all couples are going to be exactly alike in what they like to do. And so this quilting, I think Pam is kind of hoping this will pull him into something she wants to do.
Yes.
And of course, at first he balks. He doesn't like it. He thinks it's just for women. And then of course he gets there and discovers there's other men, which I think kind of maybe calmed the waters a little bit. But this constant bickering that goes on between them, we see this. I mean, I've noticed this even in public. You'll see people quarreling in restaurants and in stores, and it's kind of embarrassing. But they're doing it because they're crying out. They want so badly for their mate to pay attention to them. That's what it is. And so I think they think that if they say enough nasty things to one another or hurtful things, they'll penetrate that exterior and they'll get their results. That doesn't usually work.
Exactly. And we see that throughout the musical, that they're kind of back and forth with each other, and it's kind of one says one cutting thing, the other says another, and it's almost like a competition. But we also see how they evolve. And I think that one of the things that you did so beautifully was through it all, we can still see that silver lining. You can still see that there's a commitment there between the two of them. And that kind of gives viewers hope. It gives us a little bit of hope as we go through it.
That's why readers like romance. They like that romantic element because they want that hope that things will get better. And you know, it takes two. It's not going to get better because one person decides to change. It takes two. But that one person changing will sometimes cause the other person to change.
And Pam loves quilting, so she decides to rope Stuart in because of her love for quilting, and we see her personality is just, she's full of life.
Yes, she is.
I mean, I think people really start to see, whether it's reading it in the book or whether they see it in the musical, they really start to see Pam and in ways that you just never could imagine. Talk about your inspiration for Pam.
Well, I don't have any one particular person that I based her on.
Yes.
It's kind of a multiple personalities that I've seen here and there. But after I wrote the book, I had someone tell me they knew somebody exactly like her. So there's really a Pam out there, I think, with a different name. But she's seeking. She's mostly seeking her husband's attention. And I think that is so true in so many married couples' lives, primarily for the wife, because he's busy. You know, he's working, and of course in the book he has a He's managing a store, and so he works long hours, he comes home, he wants to watch TV, and then he wants to hunt and fish, and she's not interested in any of that. So it makes it hard for couples to relate when they're going separate ways. You've got to find some kind of a common denominator.
Yes, and they have kids too as well, so there's a lot involved in trying to navigate those waters, and I think we see that through the whole duration. And I feel like Pam's one of those people that she says things and then you quickly cringe.
Yeah.
Which though makes for such great comedy. You know, most of it's not cruel. Most of it you just are kind of shocked that it even came out of her mouth.
She probably is too. I mean, most of us when we spout off, we're not thinking ahead. Oh, I think I'm going to say something hurtful. It just pops out, and afterwards we're like, oh, wow, I can't believe I said that.
Right. Exactly. Well, I think that the two of them make for the perfect married couple because we see from just start to finish all of the things they're going through. And in the musical, like you talked about, it's condensed.
Right.
But it's also nice to, you can still see these little snippets of who they were maybe before children, who they were before things got hectic. And I think that is a beautiful way of tying it all together so that we kind of see what's going to happen with them. Because it is a very slippery slope, and they talk to each other in a way that is very, you know, cutting and hurtful.
Yes,
we see
exactly.
that.
And in the book, of course I do a lot of information about the characters from the past or in their personal life at home. But in the book I talk about what went on in Pam's life and Stuart's when they were kids, because that affects how we are as adults. Do we have to stay that way? No, we can rise above it. But even in the play, you get that snippet, especially of Pam and her past.
Well, in order to see what happens with Pam and how her and Stuart really pan out and what happens with them and what direction they decide to go and take their marriage, come and visit us at Greenville Village Theater here in Arcola, Illinois. Thank you for joining us, Wanda.
You're welcome.